So after months of waiting, JP Morgan has finally launched the Chase Bank here in the United Kingdom. Is it any good? Should you be getting this as your current account? Well, in this video, I will take you through the pros and the cons, some of the really good things about it, some of the things I love, and some of the things that aren't great that might make you want to hold back a little bit. Plus, I've got my card in the post. I'll be opening it up here so you get to see exactly what the card is like. So it's been a while. I think it was maybe sort of January, February time, 2021, where they said we're going to relaunch here in the UK. And a lot of people got excited about this. On my live Q&As that I do every week and all sorts of questions on Instagram and everywhere, people saying, any news yet about the Chase Bank? Any news? Week after week after week after week. And finally, at the end of September, hey, we'll finally be able to sort of get your hands on this account. Now, I'm not sure why so many people were excited. I think perhaps because they look over to America, where obviously JP Morgan is a massive bank, and they see some of the offers and some of the promotions that Americans get through their products, particularly on the credit card side of things. So I think they're probably hoping maybe we'll get the same thing here. And to a certain extent we do, and I'll get onto that in a second. But overall, again, it is just another account here. And this is also most similar to kind of Monzo and Starling. That's an important thing to start off with. This is a digital only bank. You need a smartphone to be able to open up and manage your account. There are no branches. I don't know whether there ever will be. They really are going for that kind of that fintech approach. And in lots of ways it works, as I'll show you in a minute. In terms of getting the accounts, probably the first thing we should talk about. It's relatively simple, although at the moment, just a few weeks after launch, there is still a wait list. You have to go to the JP Morgan website or download the app and enter your details in, and you'll be put on a list. Now, I applied for this the day it was launched, and it took me 2 or 3 days to actually get access to the account. I know some people who are still waiting, so it's hard to say right now exactly how long it's going to take you to get that account. So get on that wait list as quickly as possible if you want to get hold of it. When you do, it's the same way system as you would get if you were applying for your Monzo or Starling or any of these other digital banks. You put all your details in. There will be a soft credit check. It's not a hard credit check. So that's an important one to remember if you're worried about having too many searches going onto your credit report. And you have to sort of do some ID things like take a photo of yourself and upload your driving license, your passport as part of that application. They'll check that. It took a while for my one to come through, but I know other people it happened instantly. So don't expect to maybe get this account straight away once you've got the wait list. You might have to wait a couple of days or so. But overall, a pretty simple process. Didn't take me too long at all. So let's have a look at the card, shall we? So I got this through the post. I think it took maybe a week for it to come through. Little nice blue envelope. Maybe not as sexy as what you'd get from Starling or Monzo when they send their cards through. But here it is. Little Chase logo on the front. You open it up. And then here we have the card. And this is the big thing about this card. As you can see, there's nothing on the front, as is becoming more and more common now with so many of the debit cards that banks are releasing. And nothing on the back. There is literally nothing on this card at all, other than a phone number in case something goes wrong. Other than my name on the front as well. That's the only thing that kind of makes this card different to anybody else's is you have your name on the front. It's all right. It's just a debit card, isn't it? Nothing special about it. A nice dark blue, sort of matches my shirt. Complete coincidence, but there we go. Well, that was a bit of an anticlimax, wasn't it? But anyway, I have unboxed the card. That's what it is. Now, not having any card details on it at all, they are selling this as a security feature. So you can flash your card wherever you might go and no one's going to be able to steal your details. But let's face it, who would be doing that anyway? I much prefer it to have it on the back. So at least I can I can see it and I can type the numbers in. What you have to do instead is open up the app, and then you can, if you're using your phone for whatever you're putting it into, you can copy it, which is great, and then paste it straight into. But if you're doing it on a website, on a different device, you're going to have to then sort of open the app every time you want to copy it, which is a bit annoying. I'd much rather have it both in the app and on the card. Within the app, you'll be able to see your PIN, you'll be able to freeze your card, you'll be able to turn off things like contactless or chip and PIN or overseas payments, all those kind of things within the app. So you've basically got full control there, everything you need to do. Now, obviously, I've not been using the actual card yet because I've just taken it out of the envelope, but I've been using it for payments via a couple of really simple workarounds. One of them, I added it to Apple Pay, no problem at all. It took seconds to do that from within the app. And the other one was using Curve. Now, I've got a whole video on Curve if you're not familiar with this, so do check that out. This basically is a smart card where you can put loads of different Visas and MasterCards behind it and then switch around your payments as you wish. Well, I added my Chase card manually to that, and I've been using that again with very few problems. Now, I say very few problems on both Apple Pay and with the Curve card, because in the first few days, there were a few transactions that didn't come through. Now, this might be because I was probably one of the first people using it, literally 2 or 3 days after it was launched, and maybe there was some kind of problem going on. I had a couple of things where I was using it in a pub out in the middle of nowhere while I was on holiday, and it wasn't working. I used my Amex, that went through fine, but all my other transactions using Apple Pay and the Curve card have been fine. Another time I used the card details themselves, copied from the app into a travel lodge website, and again, it wouldn't accept the payment. So I'm not sure what was going on there. Maybe there was something to do with balances. I don't know. But everything else, every other time I've used it, it has been fine. But that's just another good example of why you should never just rely on a single current account, because you never know, for whatever reason, why you might not be able to use it. Always have a backup bank account or even a backup credit card ready for you, just in case one thing isn't accepted. So that's the card. That's what it looks like. That's what it does. Let's talk about maybe the biggest selling feature of this account though. And this is 1% cashback. It's certainly what I'm most excited about with this and why I'm going to be using it and have actually started using it for most of my transactions. Now, 1% cashback is actually pretty good. It equals or betters pretty much every other rate you're going to get on cashback credit cards. You might find a couple of places will beat that slightly because they're store specific, such as the John Lewis one will give you 1.25% at John Lewis, or the Amazon Platinum one will give you 1.5% on Amazon if you're an Amazon customer, and there might be a few others out there. But on general, everyday spending, the only other one which is going to give you the equivalent of 1% is the American Express Nectar card, which will give you 2 Nectar points for every pound you spend, which is 1%, but you're getting them in Nectar points. The other downside, obviously, of any Amex card, as much as I do love American Express, is that not every single retailer takes them. This Chase card is a MasterCard. Everywhere is going to take this. So you will be getting 1% every single time you shop, and you'll be getting it into your account in cash, in money that you can then spend anywhere, not just in retailers that also accept Nectar points, or if you've got another card with similar rates, maybe they're limited to just spend them here, there, everywhere. This one can be spent however you want. So that is the big bonus. The downside of this is only for 12 months. Now that could well change. You never know. Maybe nearer the end they go, actually, we're going to extend it or whatever might happen. But at the moment, it's just an introductory offer. That could be worth, depending on how much you spend, maybe 100, 150 quid a year. The average household spend for a year is £30,000. You won't be able to use the cashback on every single part of your expenditure. There are some big restrictions on there, but your normal spending, the stuff on supermarkets, petrol, other sort of general things that you buy, eating out, whatever it might be, you should be able to get that 1%. So let's half that annual spend to £15,000. Let's give you 1% back on that. That's 150 quid. So I think it's a decent earner in terms of a welcome bonus. Now, you could want to prioritize a bank switching deal, which could give you 100, 150 quid anyway, but I'm not saying don't do one or the other. You can do both. You can get your bank switching bonuses over there and get that free cash, and you can get the ongoing cash with this. Now, if you already earned cash back from a different card, obviously you're not going to be making an extra 100, 150 quid. You'll just be getting maybe 25 to 50 quid more, depending on what rate you're already getting on a different card. But still, I'm a big fan of this feature. To activate it, you actually physically have to go into an option in the app and say activate your 1% cash back, and then it will run for 12 months. I wouldn't do this straight away. I've done it straight away because I needed to use it and try it out for you guys. I wouldn't do it straight away because there is another feature which is coming soon. When is soon? I don't know. When I applied for the account, it said it would be available. Then later that day or the next day or something, by the time I actually had the account, they delayed it slightly. I'm hoping it'll be pretty soon. It won't take too long to do this. But this is 5% interest on roundups. Now, roundups you're probably familiar with. Lots of banks offer this feature now. I don't use it particularly. I don't think it's a great one, but some people love it. And it is a nice way of getting some extra money into your savings. Essentially what happens is, let's say you spend £1.80 on, I don't know, a tea or a coffee or whatever it is. If you have this feature activated, 20p will be moved into a separate account. And normally with these other accounts that offer this, that can be a nice little way, as I say, of bringing up a little bit of extra money in savings bit by bit without you having to actively think, I need to put some money aside. It's nice, but not fantastic. With Chase, giving 5% on that money makes it much more appealing. I've seen people talk about possible workarounds on this and ways you can maybe spend small amounts of money quite regularly that might then qualify for this, so you can get in a lot more money into that separate pot and getting that 5% on it. Now, until that feature is activated, until in the account, I would wait to start the 1% on the cashback, because then you can use them in conjunction. Every time you spend money, you get 1% cashback. Anything left over that rounds up to the nearest pound will go across and you earn the 5% interest. And combined, that is a really healthy amount to get for 12 months. Of course, when that 12 months is up, I'm not sure I would carry on using this account, but it's an interesting way to get you to actually get in there and use it. Because the other accounts where they've struggled, the Starlings and Monzos, is people have opened them up for one feature here or there and they've liked them, but they've not necessarily made it their main account and then carried on with it. This is a really good way to make you actually use it. And then maybe once you've been doing that for a year, you'll want to stick with it. Now, there are Other good features that's worth knowing about, it is fee-free to use it abroad. So again, you'll get that full cashback at home and abroad. That makes it the top spending card for me overseas. And it also has some really good features. Talked already about how you can get the card details and copy them and paste them. Well, as you'd expect with this kind of account, you can also get your account details, your sort code, all that kind of stuff, and copy that about nice and easy. Makes it, it's a small thing, but if you want to share it with your friends, it takes a few seconds. You don't have to type it out. Small thing which I think will become standard across all accounts, but fortunately it is there with Chase. It doesn't have quite the same sort of feature as pots Monzo has and spaces that Starling has. Instead, you can open up a new current account within that, and it takes seconds to do this, and you can have essentially as many as you like. Now, you don't get a new debit card with these extra accounts. Instead, what you can do is you can select before paying which account you want your payment to come out of. So I've set up a separate pot here. I've called it Eating Out just for the purposes of something I actually will be using this card for. Transferred some money into that pot, and then before I paid at a restaurant, I selected it to pay with that card, paid with it, and the money came out of that extra current account. You'll also get a sort code and current account number for those extra accounts as well, which could be quite useful if you want to set up, say, a bills pot. All your bills would come out of that particular pot every single time, and so on. So there's lots of different ways you can do that. You could have maybe money coming in to a completely separate account, and then you transfer it around as you wish. Annoyingly though, you have got to make sure that if you want to make a payment out of a certain account, that you have the money in there. So there will be a lot of that transferring about going on. The app also has some good sort of spending analysis features, as you'd be familiar with the likes of Monzo and Starling. Now, I'm actually quite excited about this because this is the first time that I'm actually going to be using one of these cards on a regular basis to see how this actually pans out. I've looked at how they work in theory on Monzo and Starling, but because all my spending until this point has been via my American Express credit cards, I've not had that ability to go, oh, actually, in this month, you spent 60% of your money went on eating out or on transport or whatever it was, and really break it down. I think that's a really good tool to help you sort of nudge you into kind of acknowledging exactly where your money is going. It's very easy for us just to spend and not actually look back at that kind of bigger picture. So that kind of functionality is going to be great for someone like me who's suddenly going to be able to take advantage of those features. Of course, if you've been using it for a while, it's not quite as advanced as you maybe would have got from somewhere like Monzo. So overall, I'm relatively impressed by it. I think it's a decent app, not perfect, not as good as Monzo in terms of, say, the app, not necessarily as good as Starling in terms of the sort of the ease of banking, but it is pretty decent. And where it is slightly better than those other two is the fact that it has those incentives, those kind of features that will make me, and it has made me, actually use the account as my main account for my main spending instead of using an American Express credit card. But there is one massive drawback that you need to be aware of, that at launch would mean you definitely do not want to make this your main account. And this is the fact that direct debits don't work with this account. Now, this will come later on. They will add it in, and maybe that will change your mind on if you want to make it your main account. But at the moment, yeah, no direct debits at all. Now, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. If you watch my videos regularly, you'll know that I recommend the Santander 123 Lite account for cashback on your main bills, your main direct debits. So you get money back on your council tax, on your energy, on your mobile phone, on your broadband, on all that kind of stuff, right? So that takes up a lot of the direct debits. So you want to have one of those anyway. And it's also worth having some other direct debits available for bank switching promos and things like that. But it is a kind of a big drawback that you can have this account and it doesn't do one of the main things you want a bank to do. Okay, so that's a big drawback. The other thing I would say as well is that it's still early days with the bank, and it might be absolutely fine. You know, this is a kind of a huge American worldwide kind of institution. They have got a lot of money behind them, so everything should be fine. But again, you just don't know quite in its early days whether these features, when they're going to come along. It almost feels still like it's a bit of a beta. It hasn't really been fully launched. Maybe in a couple of months that will change. And obviously every single month I do my best bank accounts update. I'll let you know about any changes that do come along. So should you get a Chase account like me? Well, yeah, I think so. I think it's well worth getting on that wait list. And then when you've got the account, getting it, maybe waiting a little bit until that 5% interest on roundups is available for you to activate the cashback and actually start using it, because those together, if they're both for 12 months, they are going to be the ones that earn that most amount of money for you. And I would use it for 12 months unless they extend that offer. And then maybe after 12 months, that's it. I would quit and I would look at what other accounts are available on the market. Ethically, certainly, I would much rather have my money with Starling or maybe a building society like Nationwide than with a US giant like Chase. So I'm just really doing this to take advantage of their marketing budget and this welcome offer. I don't intend to use it after that. or I don't intend to use it if I can get a better deal out there. Now that 1% cashback, it can be beaten if you are new to American Express, because some of the welcome offers are worth 5%, potentially even more. They're much, much better things to go for in that kind of initial period, and then maybe have a look at Chase. But for the rest of us, the way to approach it, the way to deal with a Chase account, I think, is to use it as a spending account only. So you transfer your money into the account on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, whatever it is you think you can afford. You spend with your debit card or your Apple or Google Pay or your Curve card, whatever it is, or digitally by copying the details in. It's really simple to do that. You do all that, you spend your money, you earn the cash back, and you see your balance every month start to come down, start to sort of drop down. It's a great way to keep you on track, which you won't be doing if you are using the method I normally use, which is like a cashback credit card. Do that, and the next month, top it up again with your next amount of cash that you've got available to you that you can afford to spend, and earn that cash back again on that everyday spending. Simple thing with all these cashback things is never spend more than you actually intend to spend just to get the money. It's just a way to earn a little bit of passive income. So I will write a more detailed review over on Be Clever with Your Cash.com that you can check out as well. I put the link below through to that when it is written, and also to Chase Bank so you can get on that waitlist straight away. If you've got the account, I'd love to know what you think, so leave me a comment below on your initial use as well. Let everyone else know what you think about it. Until next time though, my name is Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching. And here are a couple more videos you might find interesting.